Great. So welcome everyone. We're going to start. So welcome to our founder spotlight with Liri, Halperin, Segal, founder and CEO of LeO. This is, I think, a unique opportunity to learn to learn how top founders is creating real value. We'll talk about entrepreneurship, AI, and future opportunities. Just before we start, just a quick disclaimer. I'm going to read it from my notes. So the content presented today is not directed to any investors or potential investors and does not constitute an offer to sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy any securities. So once we have this done and off the table, I think that we can start. LeO is a proud portfolio company of Menara Ventures, our previous fund, and I'm also a board member at LeO. We're super excited to have you here today with us, Liri. And just before I hand it over to you, one more housekeeping thing. We're going to pick up questions towards the end of the webinar from the audience. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box and we'll address them later during the webinar. So, just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Eran Savir. I'm the founder and managing partner of Savir Ventures. I'm focusing on AI, digital, and commerce. This is, in fact, our third fund. And before I was an investor, I was a founder, and I also have a technical background. So I kind of, I guess, know how to write code. Liri, thank you very much for joining us today. It's such an honor to have you with us. So please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Eran, and it's great to be here. Thank you for joining us today. So I'm Liri. I'm the founder of LeO. Actually, I'm a serial entrepreneur. My first venture was in Israel. It was a do-it-yourself recommendation platform. And at some point after it got some great success, I added two co-founders and we took it abroad. Today, it's a corporate gifting platform for corporates. And when I was there, I was able to serve clients such as Google, AOL, Autodesk. I also co-founded an organization called P51. It's an organization that aimed to promote women in the workplace. I had the privilege to talk about it in the UN, also the Library of Congress. And I'm also a proud mother of Ellie and Emilia, my two daughters, and I live in Tel Aviv.
Amazing, Liri. So once again, thank you for joining us today. Just quick background. We kind of know each other for, I guess, almost 3 years, and that is more or less when we invested from our second fund in our ventures. We invested in LeO. I think what I liked back then, and I kind of still like, is that the team has this unique domain expertise in that space, and that is such an important thing. And this is something that we really like and liked back then. The space definitely is a space that is kind of requiring or awaiting some disruption. And LeO was super disruptive back then and still is. And lastly, LeO was using AI even before everyone kind of was talking and buzzing about AI. Back then, we called it machine learning and big data. But that was super exciting back then. And so that kind of led us to a very, very good positioning in the market when everyone was starting to talk about the AI. So that is kind of the background of how we kind of got together and how we met. And so maybe before we start, if you can, just tell us a few words about what is LeO?
Yeah, sure. So LeO is an AI sales platform for the insurance industry. We help agents to get 10x return on their investment. And if you look at the market today, you will see that agents are working in the method of spray and pray. They don't really have the data, or they don't have the right data in order to get and prospect, in order to get more leads and to grow their business. So this is where we understood that there is a huge challenge, that we can help them. We can help them to access the data that they need in order to do that. So today, insurance agents mostly looking to sell commercial lines because that's where you see the high commission rate. So we have on our platform 32 million businesses. We are the largest database today in the insurance space in the US. And we have 3 layers of data. So it's contact details, it's firmographic data, and it's the insurance intelligence data. So the contact details is really who the agent need to go after in that organization. What is email, LinkedIn account, phone numbers, so they can start the campaigns. The firmographic data is really how many employees are there in that organization, and what is the sales volume. So he will know if it's relevant for him, for his profile or not. And the third thing is really the insurance intelligence data. And this is where we provide them super crucial data points, such as X date. I know that most of you don't know what is X date, so I will explain. It's the renewal date. It's the date where the policy is going to end. So that's when the agent needs to call that prospect, because if you will call a week after the policy was renewed, it's not relevant. But if you will do it 3 months in advance or 6 months in advance, that's when it will be super relevant. So we are also providing data points such as the carrier name, the current broker name, even his commission, if they have any violations, if they have any vehicles. So with that data, they can work more efficiently and to get a higher ROI. And the last thing is that we also have an AI workflow. Once they get a prospect and they found a prospect that they like in LeO, they can start a campaign. So they can start to send them emails, and we can craft those emails for them using the data that we have. And they can also push those prospects directly into their CRM or to download it as a CSV. So that's in general what we're doing.
So that's awesome. By the way, LeO belongs to, or is part of that kind of top layer that is called the application layer. And I mean, today when investors are looking where to invest money in AI and where to put their kind of next investment, and it's becoming kind of the known, kind of a known fact. The most value will be created at the top layer, and that is the application layer, and that is exactly where LeO is located. It's right, it's like a vertical solution, very specialized in a very specific type of problem that a very specific type of customers have. And once you put this together with AI, with technology, with team and of founders that understand the problem and the solution, the magic happens. And so this is, I guess, why LeO is also why it's successful, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But before that, I mean, just say a few words about, what inspired you to start LeO? How did you identify the need for AI sales intelligence platform in the insurance markets? And just a little bit about that, some color.
Sure. So that's an interesting story. Back then, me and my husband, we decided that we want to renovate the house. As a typical millennial, I didn't have homeowners insurance. So I understood that I will need to buy one, and I started the process. And then I realized that the process is not so easy. So I called my COO, AKA my mom, and she connected me with her agents. So I met with him, and after a few minutes, I just realized that something is broken in the process. He didn't have the data that he needed in order to sell me the policy that I really needed. He wasted my time. And I also felt that he is acting in a very inefficient way. And I knew that something is not, the way it should be. And also he told me that this is exactly the way he's operating, like, 20 years ago. So, as an entrepreneur, insurance industry is a great playground for innovation. And this is how we started. So we knew that providing the right data for the agents can really change the way they operate. And this is how they can grow their business and also create a better experience for their customers. So that was really the story.
So yeah, well, the story kind of entails or leads to my next question. So obviously you started elsewhere and you started kind of, with a different product. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to the point where you decide to make a pivot.
Yeah, so we started in Israel. And we worked here with insurance agencies and also a direct insurance company, Bituch Yashir. And it was great. But at some point, we understood that we want to do this geographical pivot because the large market is in the US. And that's where we decided to make this move. And pretty quickly, we were able to work with a large agency. So we started to work with them. And at some point, we understood that the product that we are providing them, even though we got some great feedback, it's not the right product for the entire market. So we also started to work with small agencies, SMBs, and we tried to understand their needs. And we just realized that what they want is to grow their business. They need more accounts. And it's at that point, we shifted to a place where we are providing them the data points that they need. And this is how, we started to provide them the contact details, the firmographic data, and the insurance intelligence data. So the pivot was in 2023. And it's actually, we started with 7 agencies. And today we have more than 450 agencies. And it's actually, if we have a second, maybe I can share my screen and to show you the graph since we started the pivot. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so as you see here, we started the pivot around here in Q1 2023, and today we have more than 450 agencies. And we have great momentum. And when you get to product market fit, you understand that you are in the right direction.
And we're going to talk about the product market fit in just a minute, but your chart shows the hockey stick where every investor and founder want to be showing a hockey stick chart, which means that sales and usage and revenues are picking up at an exponential way. And I guess it's amazing to see that this is in fact your real data. And so, congratulations on that. So, let's talk for a second about the strategies that were like kind of the most effective. So obviously you made a pivot, and then what were the strategies that you applied to make, to scale LeO, and what was the most effective thing to attract customers, to, generate revenues and so on?
So first of all, we always speak to our users all the time, every day. Okay, after this webinar, I have 2 calls. And Sar, our CPO, he will also have calls. And the sales guys, and even Orit, our COO today, spoke with one of the agents. So we are constantly in touch with them. And then we know which features we need to develop. What will be the next feature that can provide us more usage and more clients? And in the end of the day, the people that are selling us the best is our clients. So that's super important for us. And I have an example for that. So we realized that we have X dates, which is great. And we have X date for workers' comp and employee benefit, but we didn't have X date, remember the renewal date, for general liability policies. And we got a lot of requests, but we couldn't find it anywhere. So it's not data that exists in the market. So we realized that we have enough data, because we are gathering so much data every day, that we can really develop our own machine learning models that can predict the X date of that policy. So today, and we released it recently, and it's working great, we have the capabilities of the X date of general liability, thanks to the technology. So this is also a great story, how to use AI that can really serve the needs of your product and the needs of your clients, even though the data was not exist anywhere. And in terms of marketing, the insurance market is built with networks. So if you're an agent, probably you will be a part of a network. Why? Because you want to get those terms with the carriers, with the insurance companies. You want to get better commissions. And those networks will also recommend you on different vendors. So it's a lot of partnerships that we were working on, and this is how we are getting great tractions from those networks that are promoting LeO every day. And by the way, we saw some slowdown in sales, and we understood that one of our networks didn't have the right links. So we changed it, and it's back to normal. So it's so important.
So yeah, it's such an important feedback and tip, and so trivial, right? Like, talk to your customers, ask them, what's painful, what is their problem, how can you solve it, and just solve it. It sounds so easy,
yeah.
Right? Just before we move to the next question, everybody, if you have any question, any question, just put your questions in the chat box at the bottom of the screen, and we'll pick them up later. So, we talked about, the product market fit, and so, the chart that you showed. So I guess, LeO has reached product market fit. So the question is, how do you know as a CEO when you're actually there? So, and kind of what does it take to get there? How, what kind of things you need to do in order to get there?
Yeah. So I think that as an entrepreneur, your most desirable milestone is to get to a product market fit. And even if you have great revenues, you don't really know that you got to product market fit, because it can be from 3 clients. So I think one of the most important things is the repeatable sales. So if you see that you can sell not to 1, not to 2, to hundreds of customers, you're starting to have a product market fit. And the next thing is renewals. You need to see that your customers are renewing and they want to continue to use your product because it creates value for them. And the third thing is constantly, tracking the usage. And see that it's not, just one time a year, and they are using it or not using it. They are holding it just because they paid for it, but they need to actually use it. And the last thing is really the feedback. You need to, like you said, constantly, you need to be in touch with your users and to get their feedback. And once you see that you're starting to get great feedback, and they want to offer you some testimonials. So that's where, you know, again, that you maybe got already to the product market fit, and also referrals. This is a very strong arm in LeO, the referral mechanism, not just to get referrals from those networks, but from your own clients. So, you know, in LeO, when we saw repeatable sales, that people are starting to renew, great feedback, usage, and then the referrals, we knew that we have a product market fit.
And also sales are starting to pick up faster, right? It's kind of stop
Yes.
Feeling like this is like an uphill battle. It feels a little bit more easy to, you know, to convince customers to buy. And I think that you know, with your story with LeO, it's such an amazing story. I mean, you started elsewhere with different type of product and customers, and eventually found your market fit, you know, kind of elsewhere, right? So that's amazing. So, you know, let's kind of widen the perspective a little bit about and talk about AI. So how do you see AI transforming various industries, including insurance, in the next 5 to 10 years? And where do you see the major opportunities?
Well, I think that the sales process in the insurance industry is going to change thanks to AI. It will be more efficient, and it will be better for the agents, better for the carriers. The carriers are the insurance companies, and better for the end customer. Today, when an agent wants to sell, or carriers, they want to sell, so usually they're using SDRs. Sales developers, sales development reps. And they are spending dozens of millions of dollars on SDRs every year. And today, those SDRs are using LeO because we are the database. We are the data source that they are working with. We are at top of the funnel, and we are letting them know who they need to call and what's their email, and they can learn more in their LinkedIn profile and what's their role, and then they can see if it's they have the right numbers, which means the sales volume, and they have enough employees, so it will fit their profile. And then the third thing will be, you know, when will be the right time to call them, and what to say. So they can find and build a story from using LeO. But I believe that very quickly we will start to see more virtual assistant powered by AI that will take this role and will change the industry, and they will integrate with LeO. LeO will feed them with that data of who you need to call, what's the story, and when you need to do it. And that way, we will start to create a virtual agency that the agent will just, you know, join in the end of the process as an advisor, as an expert. And I believe that that's way they will be able to grow their business a lot quicker, and also provide a better user experience for their customers.
Right, and I think that you know what you're talking about with regards to LeO and you know the AI assistant. This is something that we see, you know, when we look at a wider perspective at, you know, trends that are happening right now. So I think one of the hottest buzzword is AI employee for something. So everything kind of starts with like a co-pilot for something, which is like the assistant, right? And then it will move into AI employees. I guess people are kind of scared from AI employees, but this will soon become a reality. It will probably not replace humanity, but this will be like replacing tasks that humans don't need to do anymore. We've seen that happen in the history, and wherever there's like a new technology, humans stop doing those tedious works, and kind of have more time to do other things. And this will happen, I guess, in insurance, and we see that happen in other verticals as well. So I guess LeO and LeO's vision is kind of very much aligned with that, I guess, global vision and where, where all the industries are heading to. I guess LeO has some advantage, like I don't know if it's a first mover's advantage, but some advantage with that regards. So just, just to be, to mention that. So we got to the point where, I know that you're also currently fundraising. So, a few words maybe about your approach to fundraising, and also why do you think that now is the best time to raise money and to invest in LeO?
So, we have this checklist, right? We have the product market fit. We have a great momentum right now in the market. We have a great growth. You saw it in the graph. And we also have a great team. We have a team of experts in AI and insurance. And we are now raising because we want to continue the momentum and we want to even move faster. So this is why we feel it's a great timing for us to raise this fund, this round. And as you know, we are in Israel, so it's not so easy to raise money right now as an Israeli founder. But we do have great momentum and traction, so I'm sure it will be fine.
Great. So yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's clear that it's probably not the best time to raise money. However, this is probably one of the best times to invest in Israel. It's not a recommendation to invest in LeO or in anything at all, but generally speaking, and I'm talking about this a lot and also writing about this quite a lot. I think that there is a unique and, like, I guess, once in a generation opportunity to invest in Israeli startups and technology and founders for many, many reasons. But I guess right now, we're seeing that, I guess we know the story of the startup nation, all the innovation, everything that's happening in Israel and, AI and stuff. However, since there are less investors acting in Israel, this is kind of a market that's amazing for investors, and that is probably the best time to invest just because, like, it's an investor's market, right? So I guess from one side, it's probably not the best time to raise, but on the other hand, it's probably, for the great companies, for the good founders, it's like the best time, I guess, to invest. So so yeah, with that, looking forward, what's your vision for LeO's future, and how do you plan to achieve it?
So our vision is to be the #1 sales platform that combine the whole ecosystem in one place. The agents, the carriers, and the prospect. So today we are with the agents when he's finding the prospect, their next prospects. And insurance carriers, they want to be there when that happens. They want to be in the point of sale. So we are now starting to, as a growth direction, to also promote insurance products. So when an agent is seeing a relevant prospect, he can also already see the relevant insurance products from different insurance carriers. And then he can just pick up, and understand which products he wants to sell, and he can do it also from LeO. So this is where we wanna also be a part of this ecosystem of, selling the policies. And if we look at the market today, this market generates $201 million in a year. Sorry, $210 billion a year. And only if we will take 1% commission, we can be at $2.1 billion. And we want to be more than that, a lot more than that. So yes, so there is a huge opportunity there. You don't really have platforms that help the agents to find those prospects and also promote the right product. So we believe that we can be the place, the number one place for that ecosystem. So that's the vision.
Amazing. So thank you for that. Let's kind of pick questions from the audience. Everyone, once again, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box at the bottom, and we'll pick them up. So the next question is, we talked a little bit about the type of customers that you have, and so the question is, how do you reach your clients? And how do you reach them? How do you find them? And how long did it take you to get to your first client?
So for us, the way it works, I mentioned the networks. So we are partnering up with networks that combines sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands of agents. And then they promote LeO in different ways to their agents. So that's one thing. The other arm is really the referrals. So our clients are referring LeO to their colleagues. And the third thing is that we also have some, email campaigns that we are doing, some different outreach campaigns that are working great for us. But right now, it's a lot of working with those networks. So this is one, and it took us to get to the first SMBs. What we did when we started to work in the States, we created a group of ambassadors. We asked from them to teach us their needs and what they will want to see and get from LeO. So one of them, in the end of the day, bought the service, and that was the first client.
So that is such an important advice. And by the way, I think that many founders are struggling with getting the first customers, right? You need to be getting your first customers, but it also need to be the right customers, not just any customer, right? And so that is such an amazing advice, because the way to start is just to, and that is what you did such amazingly well. Just build a list of, going to people, asking them for advice, and some of them or one of them became your first customer. But then still there's a question of, how do you build this list, right? Where do you start? If you want, you live in Israel, you need to sell to the US. How do you start?
Yeah, so I think that, building relationships in your industry is crucial. And in the beginning, you need to give them. You need to give them the honor. You need to give them, some small features or small data sets for them to use. And then they will become your customers, and they will talk about you in different conferences, and they will share with you their network. So I think, if you want to tap a market that you are not familiar with, or in a different location, you have to work on relationships.
Great. So another question is, what other countries will you be looking to grow, or will you just focus on growing on the US?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we are now in the US. It's a large market, so we are investing in the US right now. The next market will be Canada, and then also Europe. You have a lot of insurance agents also in Europe and Australia. And the amazing thing is that, in the past, I used to hear that, insurance agent probably will disappear, but that's not the case. They're actually growing. The number is growing. Yeah.
Amazing. Liri, what advice would you give to an inspiring entrepreneur looking to enter the tech or the insure tech space?
Don't. Kidding. Uh, no, it's a great market, and it's a huge market. But when you start to work in this market, you understand that everyone knows everyone. You're going to conferences and it's the same people and they're from, in the same networks. So first of all, you need to be sure that you have a great product, because otherwise they will talk about it and it will be hard for you to, change this first impression. And the second thing is don't start big. Don't go to the carriers, the insurance company. Don't go to the large agencies like we did. You need to go to the small agency, to the SMBs, and they will be happy to be your first adopters, and will be happy to share their needs with you and give you feedback and, be very, very open with you. In the end of the day, those are salespeople, okay? So they like to talk, they like to say what they think, and they will sell you your next feature as well.
Amazing. So, looking at, as a founder, you have such a great experience, I guess. And so there's so many things to do as a founder and CEO. So how do you manage work-life balance as a founder and CEO?
I don't. And I know, I think it's very individual. Everyone is doing it differently. What I found that is, working for me is to outsource a lot of the work. So if I'm with my daughters, I'm with them. So I will not cook, I will not clean. I'm paying someone to do that. And then I can really feel like I'm having quality time with them. And when I'm in work, I'm just in work, because I know that, I have people that I count on them and responsible people that are also taking care of my kids. And the best advice is really to have a great partner. You need to have a good partner for that. Yeah.
That's great. I think that's super important. I mean, as a founder and a builder, I guess in general, you have so many things to do, and you, I guess, need to prioritize, right? What are the things that you should do, and what are the things that you should not do, but still needs to be done by someone. Your partner, your co-founders, your team. It's important to also delegate, right?
Yes.
So,
definitely.
So maybe let's go to the final and closing question, and we'll wrap up after that. So, Liri, what is the most unexpected lesson you've learned from your journey?
Well, when we started, one of our KPIs was to work with a large agency, and we did that, and it was amazing. It's, I think, one of the largest agency really in the US market, and we worked with the CIO there, and he loved the product, and we got some great feedback, and the deal size was great, and it was a success. But when we started to work with those ambassadors and with the market, with the rest of the market, we understood that we don't have the right product and we won't be able to scale. So when we realized that, I think one of the lessons was that you need to audit your success. You need to question your success.
Elaborate a little bit about that, because this is such an important thing, I guess. I mean, when you become successful, you kind of fall in love with your success, right? But what you're saying is something different, right? Look at it from different perspectives. So can you elaborate a little bit on
yes,
that?
So
because
you need to
you started with the enterprise type of customers, and then you went down market to SMBs. So
because we realized that in the end of the day, insurance agents, they want to grow their business. And the product that we had was more towards, what else you can get out of your data, which cross-sell and upsell opportunities you can get from your data, which is great. And we had different applications for, for the agency. But in the end of the day, when you talk to an agent, the biggest challenge is really to get new account and to grow their business, the book of business. And that was where we understood that we have a great technology. We need to do some adjustments in order to get to a product market fit, and really create the real value for the agents. And that's where we, even though we had a success, we were very honest with ourselves. And we decided to pivot to the product that we have today. And it was easy to do this pivot because we already had the technology, most of the technology. So it was a different framing and different applications that we developed in order to fit the vision back then. So again, you need to audit your success.
That is such an amazing framing for that, and such a great way to end our discussion. I think that it's so easy, relatively easy, when you fail to look back at things that didn't work and try to fix them. But sometimes when you succeed, you just had like this lucky break or a lucky day, but this doesn't make necessarily mean that your success is scalable. And so this is such an important and a kind of a unique understanding. And thank you for that. And also thank you for sharing all your insights today and joining us. It was such an epic event, and amazing having you, Liri.
Thank you, Eran, for organizing it, and thank you for your support.
Great. Everyone, thank you very much for joining, and see you on our next event. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.